nipa ne se wose menya reclamation na menya galamsey nso mfa nteka enti court need na circumstantial evidence so in the absence of a contract ni bibia se wontumi enkodam for 20 years am ye bose wo Ghana ha sei Camila Alasa onkodam for 1 year ene TikToker yes wayira oboase boy bi yes ayese wakodi de obi atemunti ya befa no national security. And the differentiation is that Afiase belongs to NPP 4 NDC 4 do omo so enti no Thursday no ye nyina ye bebo the new patriotic party leadership echidom near the kojan aboyeti near tietua say the rule of law no yempe selective application of the law yempe selective justice say eye kokko near say ofa ha say ya atentine ne be ye adwumanti wa wo be ye saade ni bia punishment ni a it should be across board appeal abam accused person na appeal asem na kwa kopie court of appeal yes asem ni agbagu because of lack of evidence na ka eche me ye lawyer ni de eneme ba studio ha adwuma de maye bi mabre pa because eye yenso ya sede ene say ye ba anya politics nko an ye be ye ese ye de enchechre ni enchechremu eba na Ghana for mo pebre etie asemu no mu bi no o manya bi etie mami kesi eye mame Sedinam Christine Tamaklu ationu ni kesi ya enne amaye the new patriotic party ye mpenyimfo ye acting chairman Bute ye general secretary Kodua na nabi ni mpenyimfo akukuda mo party ni nyina ne minority leader ye flag bearer ye nyina ye si gyina se epese etuatua no asem no fa pem ne sen bra mami wonya hoho wo Ghana politics in fact ansa na mami Sedinam Tamaklu be komasloko no serve as CEO National Youth Authority enti sabi onye obi ebeka se ebi anana nimfi ye wonimu public procurement mramu onim public service mramu ena ebi afa no na muhunu moboda ebi oye a seasoned and experienced politician and she knows a lot in the public service enti no me hwa wo experience ne woniama bi a wuto anamon bi a then eye din say me ma the benefit of the doubt because you ought to have known better bra asembe na Omina at the time edema mi ko gina mranim in 2019 asem ne saying ye mama me charges count baako 78 na charges 78 na ebi ne saying na ye kan wie na ekopie court of appeal amachire wo se ne asia ye nya emu odwere ma nkrofo twa apini se asemi ne ese emu ne evidence mami edi Maslok CEO one of the charges they bo mami ne say Obatampa savings and loans omo koje ebosia 500,000 o Maslok omo koje Maslok ama omo check enso Maslok and mami Sedinam ne omo anya contract bia o ono o man sign contract bia enso so omo a check loan of 500,000 cedis ono o man din kita ho about the interest of the loan even before the contract is done na bra eye wuwu botomu sika eye maami no botomu sika obeka se won fan kobo obi bosia wa abra krata anda so anso ho a odi sika na ma Obatampa savings and loans awie no ansa na omo beka se loan ya wo de ma krata anda so ntikura ni yenim interest a ye betua ma Ghana ban ansa na ma Sedinam as CEO of Maslok eka cho mo se interest a mo betua o mo ni 24% ena omo se ebo ye ni capacity a ye di betua interest of 24%. Enti sadia loan ye mpebi o Maslokofo ye tro check of 500,000 Ghana cedis ya mamu bra ye ka 500,000 Ghana cedis na obeka se sika keto bi 5 billion asa 2014 na nye sika keto o eto dan wa Accra ha ene create mi to dan e wo mantwa ba bi enye o man sika keto na ya ka no setra se enye bibia na ye nka bia anhemu omuso mo return check ya mama Maslok ama me ne so wonje check eje so ma ko kashi sika ne di sika na bre no omo kashi sika 500,000 di gufie wura so amemu ekohia ama me no obacho na filling station ama me ne je cash egu ne car mu omo ma no krata ma ne sanye as adanse e kire se bosia no omo beje omo return ama ne in cash wo no nso so esanye se eye no kire so omo di sika na baba kama maji
Abusia mamenchia na memo akwa abamfa wombra Randy J report so na enem putupuru amani ababeto ya pono so kire se NPP amonyokuo won mo babeti wo ho agu montene so aye hoye kire de ati aban ewo mpapa mu entity mu ne ntenchia ya wode aba atemu dwumadie mu a Ayine de na temu no enye nkrante no fanu na emom nkranta etwafa akonkon a ya wo ye NDC ni na wonya asem kokoto de a ene na koto no agya na nso ye NPP ni pa de a se obenya wo trade mu de ene na enye o my Ghana mu ha ne senti Dr. Laji Mahmoud Bawumia wone afenyo makin ne NPP mfom ekokuda mu mpanimfo nyina wonom alezi wonom butua wonom eba be famontre so ate ntesukoko akire aban friste sa na mo na wotuo no emwo amakabi mamikabi entumi enyina brane entumi nyina emakabi mamikabi entumi enkoso ne senti mpanimfo ahodo eka bie wo stakeholders CSOs ene akuyakuya ahodo bia ya omo wotwaka ewo my Ghana titiro ni yabambo dwumadie mu wonum nyina aka wo ho de afam NPP amonyokuo mu mpanimfo a wo mbeti wo ho agu montene so ayesa oye kire fise de ekono enya ade se boa makabi mamikabi ya dachi no etimi enya animonyam kura ne no na honorable Ajia Fatima Abubakar wono na woye information minister edema NPP aban ebra na danko akufu ado wa ban mu na ene onya akwan kopie mu e wo Peace FM na wo hwe nsem waka ko biebie so wo honom na kire se NPP wo mani abere papa na afi so we said your my Ghana na emasi kono a eho bebe hia se animu ya no John Dramani Mahama ya oye Ghana man pen his excellency ese wotimi tu na mo bi odine na gina form gina brane na wo ma atemu dwumade no etimi ehoti na ehotimi banyam na sebseb kamami kabi etimi eye adwuma fi se bebe ekwe ano odene pa yenya daje na yentie hajia Fatima Abubakar ebra okopie mu ne sede wosi ekyerekere ensemu efa ne de ekoso wo my Ghana mu ha wadaro ma like video no ma me share for wadwenkyere so bra yenyina yankenkan beni yenhwe mu ade
nyame ya adom mo se ya wada mo be yo ye kire na niam a mo kan gu ho no mo de bebre ma me sha se efru so de ntia
me gidi se fapim edin kan ma me ncha wa na pay kachi na me ncha empenyumfo mo bo uchidom prof ene me bra akogan ne doc in the king ene Ghana de show magibre 80 ya na pay nyina me gidi se ye wo position de na yasade wo kabima menka bia mamuomu ne ka ho ene se ye hu se ye si atentene ne ti ase a ye dede ne atwe oman ni nyina adwen kɔ ne ma bi ekososo na ya adwene ba bibi so se ase emra na sebi ye de atwa oman no fruma esese ya akokɔ bawo se ye obreche bawo se ye osono bawo se ye chineye ne bawo BBC a esese ye de emra no enedi no ye hu ne sa se ne Ghana fosi hu ne se ase sebi ye se NPP ni bi akwa kodidi panyin bi atem mememfo ateni so memetena ha ni obi atem da na me justify ateni ye so onkoda fi ase afi baako nenso so ye hu se NDC ni a wadi oman ni dream aba oman ni ka emu adanse ye wo honom na ye be hu ane se yes wadwane na previous government na start say extradition proceedings atwene sreni abasa amanyame adom afi watima bepie mu Ghana ha maami bepie mu ye nka bi nhye mu na Ghana fo ochini pe no se na mo se ye de convicted criminal bi abagana se so obe serving a sentence ye de huhu ewo abefo ntintan mu enkrofo so de fiase bi so otifie dede ba mu for days ansan yenya almost 2 weeks ansan yenya confirmation say afi de maame no wakopie fiase eda okopie ho de no de ye de amanyame ye nim ho asem bio eno no enkosi no asem no appeal abam accused person na appeal asem na kwa kopie court of appeal yes asem ni abagu because of lack of evidence na ka eche me ye lawyer ni de eneme ba studio ha adwuma de maye bi mabre pa because ye yenso ya sede ene se ye ba anya politics nko an ye beye esese ye de enkyekere ni nkyekere mu eba na Ghana fo mo pebre etie asemu no mu bi no omanya bi etie mami kesi eye mame Sedinam Christine Tamaklu Ationu.
Yeah.
Ni case ya enne ama ye the New Patriotic Party. Ye mpenyimfo ye acting chairman Bute ye general secretary Kodua na nabi ni mpenyimfo akukuda momo party ni nyina ne minority leader ye flag bearer ye nyina ye si gyina se epese etu etuano. Asem no fa pem ne sen. Bra, mami wonya hoho wo Ghana politics mu. In fact, ansa na mami Sedinam Tamaklu be Maslok no serve as CEO National Youth Authority. Enti sebi onye obi ebeka se ebi ana nanim fi wonimu public procurement mramu onim public service mramu ena ebi afa no na muhunu moboda ebi oye a seasoned and experienced politician and she knows a lot in the public service. Enti no me hwa wo experience ni woni ama bi a wuto anamon bi a then den say me the benefit of the doubt because you ought to have known better. Bra. Asambe na Omaina at the time edema mi ko gina amranim in 2019 asem ne saying ye mama me charges count baako 78 na charges 78 na ebi ne saying na ye kan wie na ekopie court of appeal amachire wo se ne asia ye nya emu odwere ma nkrofo twa opinion se asemi ne ese emu ne evidence mama e di Maslok CEO one of the charges they bo mama ne say Obatampa savings and loans. Omo koje bosia 500,000 o Maslok.
Yeah.
Omo koje Maslok amo omo check. Enso Maslok anda mama Sedinam ni omo anya contract bia o. Ono omo an sign contract bia. Enso so omo a check loan of 500,000 cedis. Ono omo andi nkita ho about the interest of the loan even before the contract is done. Na bra ye wuwu botomu sika ye mama ni botomu sika. Obeka se won fan kobo obi bosia wa abra krata anda so anso ho a odi sika na ma Obatampa savings and loans awie no ansa na omo beka se loan ya wo de ma e krata anda so ntikura ni yenim interest a ye betua ma Ghana ban ansa na ma Sedinam as CEO of Maslok e ka cho mo se interest a mo betua o mo ni 24% e na omo se bo ye ni capacity a ye di betua interest of 24%. Enti sadia loan ye mpebi o Maslokofo ye tro check of 500,000 Ghana cedis ya mamu bra ye ka 500,000 Ghana cedis na obeka say sika keto bi 5 billion asa 2014 na nye sika keto o eto dan wa Accra ha ene create mi to dan e wo mantwa ba bi enye o man sika keto na ya ka ne setra se enye bibia na ye nka bia anhemu omo return check ya mama Maslok ama me ne so wonje check eje so makọ kashi sika ne di sika na breno omo kashi sika 500,000 di gufie wura so amemu ekohia ama me ne obacho na filling station ama me ne je cash egu ne car mu omo ma no krata ama ne sanye as adanse e kire se bosia na omo beje omo return ama ne in cash wo no nso so esanye se eye no kre so omo di sika na baba kama maji nansama Ayeka nyina people are not even looking into who the prosecution witnesses are. High court to hono Obatampa savings and loans accountant no na di sika no koma ma me no bacho na filling station no was the second prosecution witness. Maslok for ankasa driver ebedi adanse tia ma me ne say media adanse sese ni sese esie krata na ewo ho ya adanse say omo di sika no ma ne sanye no were filed as part of the exhibits that were presented in the High Court. Sikano ko Maslok for books na debi. Sikano or mamene returning ma Maslok na debi e ho adanse no bi bia ne ho e chese or returning. On that count alone, me pa chow. Na no mi hu publication bi ase boy bi akowia iPhone wo Ghana ha me ama no say 5 years or say 10 years imprisonment. Na Ghana mban no oman ni sika a ye de ama mpanyimfo so omonje nsom no edwadifo ekwa akopɛ bosen o Maslok ho abra 1000 Ghana cedi loan a wo beji nti jese ye je o Ghana card jese o kodi lie wo Maslok district office o yakɔ verification yakɔbɔ wonsan no akopɛ guarantor akopɛ witness o samwe ni mun fifiri ansa na as a citizen of the country what manya bosia 1000 Ghana cedi from Maslog the ayebodua nanso CEO ne timi sesa 500,000 Ghana cedi edugu feru aso amemu digu no boot obacho na filling station ko na oman way yese odidi atama akodamu 1 year nanso so udi aban na oman no 5 billion na akofie ne koda ne yentimi ma won da afiase 1 month dia ene na bedroom mrebi na politicians ya hwe ne ye beda ne endangered species because nkrofo be lose confidence in the rule of law ehun say say me nso nkam wo politics mu a me digiri mu a ma ban wo power enkame eno na nso ho a ma me kuro ya say eye Maslog loan beneficiaries be ya about 85,000 ono wo koye training ni sensitization amomo sensitization na sika be 1.8 million no mo de ma no oni pictures oni videos oni receipts oni bibia e kire say bibi sa akoso except for account of a little over 1,000 Ghana cedis bra enti sabio say ye ne ye bi adwuma say me na ma na say wo no wa bi adwuma ka akire e na wo manager etimi beje 1.8 million say me de koye sensitization na woko na yemfa evidence ma na wo as company ni rua wo as Ghana rua na yese wamfa bibi ama onko fie no onko dade ane ne wachi gu ho wani mu nsu gu ho em say crop top bareback ni show your stomach no wahye because enka Ghana ye japade a obiere ni ho a ye be allow say ye ma obi emra in public service na oma medi dream sa no mfa no ho ni ne atoso me ensa ka akiri metie NDC for bebre argument since last week minu abe ma judi tamaklo odi mutintimaya anu akra ma hu so akoposi me picture bi o Facebook me nim ne ode pa kire ne woje me say oma metamorphosis case na dane say yabo case na gu because Godfrey Dami anye na adwuma yie evidence ni ho ene ye say cars no contract no oforiata na tuaye enti no we dia maame no contract no sign no kra no when tua kansa no free office into when didi ho enti adwuma pa na ma chechira so Ghana fo say bra ma menche obibi Ghana Public Procurement Act PPA Act of 2003 Act 663 as amended by Act 914 and shesheye wo ho say Ghana ha untimi nya single sourcing of any procurement contract without the approval of the PPA board na wo ye Ghana ni near the public work sha wonsa na wo koye contract sa wo koto cars in breach of the PPA Act emrano PPA Act emrano mpo ne Ghana mrama kwan se enu kra se wo bu mrana nimtia no nko an 5 years imprisonment 1,000 penalty units or both enne ni onu na kwa sign contract akwa eso akoto car mohumienu ne mohumiensa no se omo san maminity o se de me se me hu aban o gaslight Ghana for te se NDC aban we under President Mahama ne wa bokro no adi o man ni dream no omo so ye victim o omo se enkofo ofori atambre no na ye payment omo se enkoche se camera no omo mfa se kanto ne minimum omo so omo pe Godfrey Dami adi ni dwuma na ne wa boye krono twitwiri die ente se no won kono nkoda na ne ho omobo 1.8 million no one fa in excess of 90 million enye hwe because or sign contract no crowd without PPA approval enye onu no tuaye na ene de omo ka kire ye say contract ni yenye tuaye it means one benefit financially from the contract mo achi gu hodie Braminti bido na what you asemi ama me ho adwiri me. Now let's come to asemi walk out of appeal ama appeal no oma boagu a oma chichire kashire mu odu ede aso a Godfrey Dami a na aka me dendende se me metna ha. This is the issue.
Okay.
Sabi ka chire me say me de wo komra anim me suwa ede na chire se masiu ana woni me akọ na se madin kunim na wo pese wo apili a ede na be mama husu apili chese ye serve me service another even say senior settle record under rule 11 of the Court of Appeal rules as I said, the court below, which is the High Court, because he am filing appeal to the Court of Appeal, Court of Appeal, you're filing at the High Court. As a registrar, no fair parties not to do settling of the record. TNU. Ora Godfrey, Dami, former Attorney General, Abba Bonting, Abba Kansi Sudia say. A bra judgment by in 2024. I convicted Mahama wo High Court. Yeah. E kope me bra ono o eno na chi ono no hu se na sede ne se enam se free 2021 Mahama yaji to me so okoje ayarehwe aba a wokọ ya wadwane a wa mabio because a medical leave no enye indefinite leave from the High Court. Enti se ne odwane ya wa mabio ya convicting in a competent court of jurisdiction. Na Godfrey Damie hu se SSM started extradition proceedings near the Mahama ba Ghana no be serving a sentence no oye na sede o se as at 7 January 2025 ono no all free ages department as Attorney General and Minister for Justice no there was no record of the appeal at the ages office na yen serve omu bibia wabisa state attorney senior state attorney se wo ho na yemfa bibia ma AG officer kire Sedinam tamakulu atuonu ene na lawyer for more appeal the judgment of the High Court na ebi ni ho enya abosire mu kan yon nko an wo kan AG prosecutors na omo court of appeal kire se omo nsankaya the part of the records of the court kire se nya 2026 yi mu omo te ho a omo kan bi nhye ma ye bra omo written submissions what you say of the appellant omo as a respondent they were required to respond until February of this year no omo nnimu post appeal bi koso court of appeal oni ni entia
adintia
because yen survey wa how would you know say the ujina mreni how would you know and governance as they say is a continuum say aban yen toatoaso dia omo pa kire say owura Godfrey Dame ye survey no notice of appeal no and our record no no kofi audition ni botom call yenti na NDC forcing on one case ni ye and now say since January of 2025 NDC ba aban mu no na fa obi da ages department honoma containing the record of appeal from the Court of Appeal omo de omada so from January of last year bedru na omantu ho anamo bia na ebio let me state on record say wo Court of Appeal to send your case you call Court of Appeal ne send your prosecutors ne can say until written submissions no munnimu say BB appeal bi say den ewo ho because such a file does not exist at the Attorney General's department. Now during the written submissions no mo catch a court ne say there be o ya serve we mu edie na ye ba mama so ate say ye no sa appeal we no mo file ye kra na anye den ba ye notice ba ho ama ye hu se bibi say ekoso enti court no man yakwanya na yenye den yenye nsachara ye wo nkrata num honum na court ne se da bi omo makwanya and this is the case that they could have filed a motion so omo person mere rectification of the record and I have to also state on record say unim se Court of Appeal now will to me to call for as our records here amba amedru hoyi say yes Mahama nkoda fie because in the past almost 2 years no exhibits and answer evidence forming the basis of her conviction at the High Court no did not find itself in the record of appeal before the Court of Appeal. Enti forensic audit na omo ye ya kire se waboye krono adi adwirimu no it couldn't get to the court. The court did not call for it. The AG's office in the last 1.5 years did not file any motion to say okay ye nim about the case nanso ye 7 years are written submissions we am ye hu say case bi o ho ye corresponding but exhibits and answer evidence cry say court no gina so di bu aten no kra it is not before us enti sadia yem file motion ni yenye we na no so amba enti payment batch vouchers are no contract documents are no memos are no forensic audit report are no emu bia ni ho ekopie before the Court of Appeal and so NDC for send ne yen kase Gofredami ofri aban mu January 2025 omo ba ye no eye almost 2 years no omo enhu bibia. They didn't see the need to even file a motion at the Court of Appeal to correct the record. The Court of Appeal also did not, out of its own volition, call for the record, no, for them to bring those information. Enti maame no onko da Ghana sika no ahye. Kaya yefo sika na hye. Adwadifo sika na hye. Sika na ebi ni ho na enu nti eye 133 policy under 24-hour economy na ambaso na ahye. Sika na eni ho na enu nti enkokon ketenkete no Greek minister say NDC full soldiers na omo de nkokon ne ma omo no nkokon ketenkete adane akokon kwan omahwe ahye. Enti jobless youth no omo ofie na omo hwe animu se Ghana wo sika enke edi beye ABC no ahye. Enti yese nya hwe enen ye wabo ye kro no adi edwirimu no yese won kofie no won koda. It's okay. Na ade nso so a Court of Appeal no kan ya, in my humble opinion, me ni omo nya adwene say
now this year
omo raise question about the burden of proof. I can be said the trial judge no e shift burden on the accused person. Na enya na said ye tried knowledge say over under section 11 of the Evidence Act in a crime no the prosecutor or prosecution has a burden to prove beyond reasonable doubt. But there were instances where the accused person is the only person who has the facts or the information within the person's knowledge. Obi any information ni bio.
Is accused person.
In just accused person in the name ni esi medeka abo wa na Josebi nyame mpengu umfrim. Ba bibia si okra wonim ne wote ya ne pa woko. Obi ani ho me na me wo ho. Adanse na asebia no
abedi wankasa wo
abedi mi ankasa me ho se me na sese me bo akyerekyere mu ne ekọ wo ho enti so wa ba beji 1.8 million sa wo de koye sensitization na sika no eni bibia mu eni records bia ho eni pictures ni ho bibia ni ho a aswo no tried knowledge say ye wo recorded court decision in the case of Abu Dhabi versus the Republic. Say you do mra facts no is only within the bosom anansa who accused person no kukuma. The burden will be on you to help us, to show us this is what happened. Enti all my Sedinam tamakula tionu na sadia na esese woye in that instance ne say yes say who burden ne say wo je 1.8 million and so no for 85,300 beneficiaries. And so on record, no, you only near kata modiaba for the program near only 1,300 Ghana cedis. And to where they yesrel, again na 1.8 million no ode ye. Sikane dia who say ni ho where you are signed for. And tebia wo pictures bia program no na wa hamfo ni etwa ye ni. Ebia me wa dance for mobile program ni bi ni omu twa ye ni. Na ye dia sisu sa bia bibi sa ankoso.
Okay.
Enti ne omu dware maame na boni hire so onko fie nkoda na Camilla Alasa on de onko twiri mu 1 year wontumi wono no what legal legitimate concession in this country ye known to be a minor even before NPP abine by in power, even before NPP abine by in power wono no say wono wafre obi say wo me reclamation ne concession no mu court to say nipa ne se wankase wonya reclamation nko a oka se nipa ne se wo se menya reclamation na memfa menya galamse nso mfa nteteka enti court need na circumstantial evidence so in the absence of a contract ni bibia se wontumi enkoda mu for 20 years am ye bose wo Ghana ha say Camilla Alasa onkoda mu for 1 year and na TikToker yes wayira oboase boy bi yes yes wakodi de obi atemunti ya befa no national security. And the differentiation is that Efiase belongs to NPP 4, NDC 4 do omuhu so. Enti no Thursday no ye nyina ye bebo the New Patriotic Party leadership echidom near the Kojan aboyeti near tietua say the rule of law no yempe selective application of the law, yempe selective justice say eye kokko near say ofa ha say ya atentine ne be ya adwumanti wa wo be ya saade ni bia punishment ni a it should be across board.
onko appeal. Say evidence wa. You have evidence nko. Forensic evidence. Witness ahodo. You have nko. The fact is that say I am passing yejitum say obi afa kweti kwembi so add your mind sika. Afa kwanya enye so na esan say yamfa evidence ankoti enti ye jani panoma. All we have to do is to reactivate the process. If the evidence is there, can't we go back? Can we go back?
Sure.
Can we go back?
We can.
Because a court of appeal, you say it's supposed to be a rehearing in a criminal matter.
And not just say.
Enka record of proceedings.
Fatima, by microphone,
Enka exhibits no,
yeah.
which form the basis of the judgment of the High Court. No.
Right.
Enka nini na eka record of proceedings no who court of appeal na the court would have looked at it, but those materials were not before the courts. Payment vouchers, forensic evidence, contract.
And that's why they
passed. That's why they said no evidence. Not that there is no evidence to the crime.
So the evidence were not submitted.
Filed.
And can we resubmit?
And was that NDC's fault?
And I can say the AG's office under Godfrey Dame and under this current agency. Almost say until February of this year, na yen survey or notice of appeal no. And I may try to explain say uti hey obi the prof akokot e wa sankre
e was 7 minutes
ese so survey yan fakrata bi ambre wo say ye frɛ wo temuafo animu a na ye say a book judgment because we are incompetent ye see you na wa amba court a obede ye hu say ye see you the evidence of ye see you ne say ye den krata abre and anami court rule 11 of CI 19 for court of appeal ne say a man sheye say you file notice of appeal a yanko file wo you court of appeal ho even wo the assembly court of appeal they just work file or high court enti as a registrar from the high court et send ye see obi a court to bailiff den krata beba be serve ye bato asom prensa na say ye nyawa ni akobo court amane say ye be serve na nso ye nyaw na court na makwan say ye nya substituted service na wo lawyer ni na ma fairly service no a kire se court yesusu say o ma ye won number ya try to amomokura ni din na wo so ma ye kwan ye mfanfa WhatsApp so ye mfan kobo ni gate no ye mfan kobo.
So you will try all means to reach
all that but the AG office ne say until February this year omoji copies of the written submission of the other party no mu ni any record at the AG's office on the appeal.
And that is the final part of this.
Prof, okay. You see, according to Sedinam's lawyer, almost survey Attorney General's department.
So where is the
and no need be a question.
Where is the break?
Secondly, me ma koko to be brave. Sometime obedru court case be me friends Attorney General versus Ofosu Ampofo. I was there. What you here? Say AG department say obia ama on that case another AG ebi oba be the case for frokra no can rise and say we were not prepared for it and I say we were not aware so it should be adjourned senebeya into for all these 2 years none of the Attorney General department for omoko court hunu say bibi say e wo ho ana until say yema date for judgment. How can that be possible?
That's a very fair. My point in here. Oh, say case in and say, and yes, say evidence anyhow, but there appears to be procedural
errors,
problems.
Okay.
As I say, a survey, and Nipan say, yes, survey, maybe a summons, but I beat in a court. Somehow between the court and Nipan, there's a break. BBSC. Now this is where ethics, the spirit of the law, and procedures. This is where they will clash for me as a psychologist. Okay, my main image will be the idea. Say it is obi ekunipa. Na nipa na wekuno no. Say we hear evidence. But nipa no dey wewu.
Yeah.
Wewu. Yeah, well, evidence say wɔn no eku nipa no the only challenge in say yantena evidence no as exhibit in court esema nipa ne nsanka no ananse bi evidence and no court the court no say
ananse nipa krokra na obedi witness kra osuro nti o se memma media dance
as member and the court no based on that no many evidence and don't forget our legal friends tell us that the highest thing in court evidence and how good you are able to talk evidence is ground and the court to say many evidence in tino asemno mabogu from where I say court no mabogu this is based on procedures if we say as I say we nya biribi to say asema me hu yi we anyway nti odi for ana odi bi entina me bi say obi ekunipa ne ehunu so na ekunipa na evidence number ya na court no ebogu a say o ye ni evidence bia so yebetumi abogu sa what will be the role of the AG because ano enipa ne ho a kire no Ghana ma Ghana sika bia sika ya to AG ya enti is that all is it gone asamana no na sanya ekosa de ya and yes obi ya boni bi now ofa kwati kwambi so and I'm not saying it's a current issue no obi afa kwati kwambi I'm just giving scenarios ofa kwati kwambi so suppressing the submission of evidence because it be how you connected and no I think we should come back again me imagine say if we have the evidence say you go for that me no team na kan let us tonight. The evidence. The problem was between honorary officer and between Tama as evidence in the Sanka anytime a judgment about out. What happened? Somebody else there must be responsible. So we'll be a human say as I say or they I didn't comment for fan qua. I don't know, make a mess about me idea. And you have responsibility. As I say, will be a responsibility. Now, Makase. Kechi, Equire ye chichere Ghana no. I keep saying this. So Oman chichere is never accidental. Intentional. Equire ye chichere Ghana ye marayo. Equire a faso de maraye juma. The fallout to certain can I say legal funny say declarations. Say bia away there marabu. Sani me nyina no look e won susanso bia ye yenwo obetina obi otegana ha say asemi I say oh e be foolish case. The foolish case ideology in Ghana is a deep thing. Na eno nkyere say because obi a ye ni mra no gachi asam no wonim di nti a yabagu na mom no was subsume say yabagu no under the rubric of a foolish case. No they can say oh Ghana go to there you be in a foolish case. But because we Ghana, I am careful. Me say public trust, and the respect in jurisprudence. You be say no. You careful.
Okay.
And to me, man, yes. Say if the evidence is there, let's tender. My fanko.
Okay.
Wait, tia. Make I na man kediwa asamo
debut
me say onko I very me who say want me ko bio entibra enti beni o nyina aya adwene something god missing and you catch mame enko sa meeting no na menu no yi ento aso
okay prof here that's papa Professor Joseph Osafo-Edu Professor kwan enti no yebeja ne na wato aso enso ewo ho chene say prof head Center for Aging Studies. Na messages ewaha Master Planner Junior in Kentampo or say communication. Okay, so as I said, Nantamaklo should have been given 10 more years, or should have been increased from 10 to 20 years by the NDC government if they are really serious about ORA, Operation Free All Luthers. Master Planner. Then Lawrence Boachi says that said Nantamaklo acquittal and discharge is a disgrace to the judiciary. Lawrence Boachi in Kwabre East signs in that one. Wafa K, please ask Akugan for me. What is the meaning of sepr? Okay, Akugan is here. Don Wildard says that where is Ken Oforiatta after stealing our money? He has failed to account for the stewardship. As long as he stays abroad, the NPP stays in opposition. Then Richard also says that tell our party leaders to file Ken Oforiatta's case in court and he will answer to the case. That is if you even have a case. Okay. Kojo Oates says that Akugian, please be steady over there. Oh, are they? Why are they? Okay. So this one also says that Sedinam Tamaklo cannot suffer for the money she didn't chop alone. Another beautiful case of create, loot, and share by the NDC. That is George sending in that one. Williams also said that. Okay, Willie, we skip your message. Nah, okay. Yeah, so those are some messages. Abba, yeah, DB, Eddie, Amo. Mensambra, yeah, let me give you 5 minutes each. Na yen chanika krakanifi. Yen kwenim. Honorable Fatima.
Yo, catchy.
Yes.
Mimi Akugan, Eka, Sano, can be say. Case it has nothing to do with NDC. Now, where they are quite to say NPP for the court in Kenya, which could not be further from the situation. A day in America, sir. NDC are buying over power in 2025 January. As at 24 January 2025. Na NDC mpenyimfo a no mugina mranimu cases nyina they discontinued it. Either so mo fa age no file nolly prosecute and answer withdrawal of the case, and in the case of Republic versus Atop Forcing ambulance case or filing notice state is no longer interested in the case. Enti enye NPP ne court na enya asema eni adanse no twa ho bi na ya adanse. The posture of the Office of the Attorney General under Ora Godfred Dame. Never, not even one time, and Ora Godfred Dame announced any pro NPP, announced NPP Attorney General under President Kufuor, announced President Kufuor. A withdraw case be a discontinue case be involving a leading NPP member. Ebi ohonoma minya bema oha mekasa wie no Canada amanem fambra. Not one. Under President Kufuor, not one under President Kufuor. Say ye can be bisa wedi bonia and I accuse you ye do kojina mrenim na one kasawako sign uti. The story has been different under Godfred under Dominic Ayine. That is what we are saying. Dr. Dominic Ayine eba from 2025 no. Or say NDC need any council kojina mrenim or discontinue omo cases nina. In fact, me had a press conference in February of 2025. Emma mi who dream me. Our Information Services Department Press Center. E didn't na me who dream me. Or say the only case or no one discontinue no Jachi question case ni because Jachi question lawyer no man assurance so mu betimi hold the case. The video is there. You can go and cross check. And to one we are Attorney General, I will prosecute you for and on behalf of the state. No, we are then crying wow or be or ye respondent or no appealing bibia. A banner sign a woo cast a one in a lawyer cried in Kitahwan who say or mode or mujina branding to no pen one discontinue. Etosumi na me nua akogan ne kasa for 2 years Godfred Dame anya that is not the case. Because the judgment in Sedinam case no eba in April of 2024. April of 2024 to December of 2024 near how many months? A free hall can econo. A substantive part of the 2 years no was under the leadership of Dr. Dominic Ayine. Entina mimi momu bisa say. What the awusi obi anya nejuma ye onim nejuma. Enti from January of 2025 until August bosumia e uma na say July sa judgment no a free court of appeal by na age no mada na se Owura Dominic Ayine impugning on the competence of Godfrey Dame. I was say obi a wono etimi submit evidence high court etimi secure conviction watimi file ama America for so omo extradite maami anyame adom through that process he initiated maami na bepie mu Ghana ha say ono no nya competence wa konfie mienu ni onso so munya notice no for February mo de ma no na koka che court say the record of appeal no nya complete. Now, the substantial part of the evidence, is not reflected on the record. A motion from February, a motion, and as I saw mo file. In fact, even so, ukojina otemuafo anase atemuafo any at the court at the superior courts below, be a high court and as a court of appeal. Now, washanan sem kanyano obonyusu because of the attitude of a judge and now or ma na bibia. You have the opportunity to invoke the supervisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Na omatima hwensem no ma make sure say your best sign judge na say as bibi o hwa so omo ye man sem and attentine ne ye adwuma. Eto so bi o me nua ben maka bibi say I say o kasa na say wo say e bia judgment na free court of appeal ba ye no oni omo nya adwene a sabi efa baabi na say wo bu court no animtia NDC for omumbu court animto nam si bra ina no de o okasa o the same NDC no mo free Supreme Court for unanimous FC and I said the same NDC omo free the former Chief Justice Osino Mami and now the same NDC almost say Ghana court near packed with NPP judges into a more barbe balance court led by the President of the Republic TNU. Omo be reset court the same NDC and almost a mobile court is NPP for Ghana ha into obi beji asem we di. And also can be say 1.8 million no uni evidence I be chese ma mini di sika na court no be conclude say na say e bo asem no guda bi. The fact is say ye party program okwa wuntwa picture no because you are working in your private capacity and working on behalf of your party as an organization. If they allow that is fine. But we are talking in the context of public funds. Entika ichire mo say Ghana ha ye betimi the 1.8 million na mo obi say oman ni sika aban ni sika komembu nkunta ye ni ledgers bia ye ni any receipts bia ye ni pictures ye ni evidence of bibia sa na ye chiche scan to send katie and then is that what we are saying? Is that the conclusion? Some Amine didn't have any burden to show what she used the money for. Say ya yanko for evidence aba when there is record says Canada wagio nenso so no ade ode ye no yenhu ne fapem. So that means he said there is no evidence. No boom. Mamenda say enti me manu besi heya. Now I am saying say the records speak for themselves. Eye NDC for and I mean susu ye mu ne say Dr. Dominic Ayine. And why niama trokan because it involves an NDC person. Let's call a spade. Because they had an opportunity to file a motion to correct the record. They didn't do it. Okay. And why would he be interested if it involves an NDC person? For an AG who has discontinued landmark public interest cases that involves on one party for. One more Makwenya say we should trust the court and allow the court proceedings to take its course. Papa, let me call my speed here. You see, Attorney General's department, or your Attorney General, or science or a Minister for Justice. Peri yo, ebata omaya no calling him. She, okay, Gregoria Fuku. Abra onya justice say adansi bia enine ho enunti yenyan no after Abrantie no a serve over 8 years in jail. Over 8 years in jail. Yes, he enjoy no Godfrey Dame said da minjay no ene nyamia domendisi eba power. Go Gregory Afoko NPP ni o
But this is the level they went with Gregory. And then nyame adom wonyane freedom. Gofredamia Kreya or prosecute your friend is saying and finance minister Atu Forsen. Oh yeah, when your evidence biano. What did he resolve to do? Or say Jakpa Buame Yenya Bako na yemfa Atu Forsen enkotum. Attorney General and Minister for Justice with this thinking. It is not just say bia asema ekosui yebeka say we are filing a nolly prosecutor because ono Godfred Daminanka so nim said nyema o prosecutor he can't prosecute it onia dance or be prosecuted unless say obi Ayeka nana enya adanse krumu ansana we to me aye why should we allow such a thing to go on and waste our time and waste public funds on these prosecutions into that decision to discontinue not any whimsically planned or bibia etisa it needed to be done unlike Nana Rudankwa Kufuado ojina simpie so ono won't me onye galam say da abra evidence ebe kire yes in fact won't me activities are all you know a be folly under galam say and the court has proven it you understand and then won't me assign so there were 3 more cases before the court of law I can only wish him well and pray say nyame endino afofi na sebasa prosecution we are on record as a party Sir John Dramani Mahama oni Abuga Peli relish sena na omote fitting kwadabrem but it drew a mirror say emra eye adwuma wan fa na no antum enye ne ene de yen ya no ebekwa koto court ensensen mu na mede eno ho no akokogu na me wi a me de si no na masan so adampeni for me ensan we ase Professor Frimpong Boateng Dr. Nyahota Maklo and Dr. Christine Amwako Nuyama Nyamiadom Omunya a very fair ruling on your friend is saying delegates system na the memeka e was say mu say wherever you stand asemi eye bi de pa one believe say your friend is saying popular na science so believe who some very efficient and capable na ni sika betumi ade ato bi akosua ni meko anasa ato fridge anasa ato yibia no they feel say this is an opportunity for them to come before the people so betumi enya kwan ade serve ebisu so ho a ya and people still believe say e biemu a eye den a sikasem no be den ebebam because enyo bia necessary target no wo hwe area bi na so ye strong wo ho a wetumi ebie portrait fan bi ewo ho e dia momo na eche say obetumi enya voter ohia ewo ho ntino people are looking at but for us as a party no
okay
metumi aka say we were even preparing towards that 2015 ye try sa omo call parliament 2016 nyina no ye nkrofo a NDC fo a yede sa friends and registered members of the party no ena course elections no eno no ye hu say mistakes be brave ewo ho eno nti no yantoa so bio ena ye move back to the delegate system and now went on to a proper register system because that time no na ye book bi a ye de registration se menya book no 20 na se me ye friend say me fele me busuafo ni me fiefo nko a forget so NPP ni o said me fele book na omro be delegate a ye ni omo ebabeko elections so
okay
but this time we have done proper register enu nti no me de manu si na me sere say omo a ye de sa register no amom some branch chairman some branch your friend is saying secretaries and idea omo temper with the results no you may forfeit your membership of the party.
Okay.
Obi a book wo ho abeka say book ayera and now say we change you obi din wom ede you stand the chance see ebe you were the free party ni agi book no efri unsem dem ma any front no
right.
people should psych their mind towards this because ya ruling no na
about the Supreme Court
na me 1 minute ya na
5 minutes when
na to dem ma 30 seconds
honorable Fati
me na me dia ma no nya na dia ma no kete me na me 30 seconds
and na me so na me time aso
enti no ma me dia ma stop for 30 seconds enti Fati
the 30 seconds no me fa mo na
ba damase say me dia ma
because me person me can be very significant. Catch your court near judgment. Ejina bibi fapem so. Fapem nessa judgment no you will be able to enforce it. A court na dream say judgment na woman it should be enforceable. And I want so a judgment neighbor in your favor no. A dream say you should be able to enforce it. There were regimes in some countries including Germany. Mine and my political parties come on with the Yamanyosem. Oh, yeah, where say Bibisa. No. In fact, almost checking even donations they buy into political parties. And to be current to mean donate sika above a certain threshold. Ghana political parties fund their activities 100% from themselves. Now the funny thing is that yes it dear. Sanka nentwie anyame bo no se bia anka no to a okomfo enka ne nsem political parties wa aban mu a na adwen ye ne say me members ye 6 million na 10 million kra na mo ka say ye mo abu asika no mra na ye mfa nkoma easing organize election we can pay it is nothing enti yodum we should go ahead but who opposition you would realize say the practicality and answer the wherewithal or what it takes. Even with the delegate system, I organize an election for about 216,000 people across this country. And yes, that comes easily. Until when you want to change that system, to move to a position where we want to organize election for almost half or 50% of the eligible voters on the roll in the country, it is no joke. Ask yourself how much it costs the EC to even organize the district assembly election for assemblymen and assemblywomen. Go and look at the findings and tell yourself whether emrawe na say judgment na abano it will be observed in breach or in compliance.
Let's give ourselves time. Say move for 1 year. So let's say within the year.
We agree on this point. And you see, but ade ba ko almost omonfa omadwene enhwe ye ne say court ne say eligible people, people of good standing. Share ene mi usika. Eye me say NPP media. Mi usika. Eye me say mi financier ewo NDC. But the court no extra yen say good standing. Nature say wo 2 million people. Na yen yetua 2 cedis a month. Na say obi a betumi ato aba no. Na it so obi a wetua odius up to date. And a betumi ato aba.
Okay.
Which means say sa 2 cedis no. Multiply it by your friend 1 trillion followers and as a members of your party.
We would
no. The truth is that
paying votes,
no, I know, but Obia wankasa utria dues 2 million people. Eba betuaba no mo nyina tumi etua omudiusa. How much is the political party
getting every month?
Yamfa dwene enko ho. Emsa no krofo anka omuso yedua mu e ka say me na me finance me na mamo pick up mamo it will come down.
Godwin Akubian, Deputy National Communication Officer for the NDC,
and it will end up at the eradicated.
Honorable Fatima to Abubakar, former Minister for Information.